What's going on, my guys? I'm your boy, I'm your Dommy, and today I'm gonna show you my Thunderdragon Regional 15th place deck profile. We had a regional at our hometown in Siegen in Germany, and I got 15th place playing Thunderdragons, and literally got the same points as the 8th place, but I got a worse tiebreak than he did. So sadly 15th place, but I'm very happy with this deck. At the end I will tell you some changes I would make to this deck, but let's start with the deck profile, and I'm going to start with the main deck. So of course we're playing pure Thunder Dragons, and we need 3 of the OG Thunder Dragons. We need 3 of the OG Thunder Dragons. I don't think I need to say anything about this card. We have 3 Raw. I think that's pretty standard. 3 Darks, and of course 3 Hawks. And now we come to the very first change. I only played 2 Thunder Dragon Matrix. The idea behind this deck is that at the very first turn, when I start the game, I want to stun out the opponent so he can't do anything in this phase, and I can kill him next turn, or if not, the turn after that. So I want to end the game pretty quickly, and it worked out pretty well. I never get it. I only got to time 1 game with the zeros, but that was just because the player was really slow. But it didn't matter. So the idea behind 2 Matrix is I want to use it for the combo with Solar, especially with Raw, and then search the second Matrix for the Titan in hand for the next turn or for the opponent's turn, so I have definitely an interruption. And after that, I don't want to see the Matrix ever again. And if needed, I just recycle it with the fusion. So I think 2 were absolutely fine. That's for the Thunders in the main deck. And yeah, of course, 1 duo. The idea behind duo is I play the floodgate version, and I banish so much that I won't have always a material for him to special summon him, and I think 1 was totally fine. Then for the normal sums, I decided to play 2 aloof lupines and 3 batteryman solar. Actually, after the regional, I want to change this ratio. I want to play 2 solar and 3 aloof lupine, just because I decided to play a playstyle with very small boards, just 1 Coloss or Masquerena plus 1 monster, and I actually summoned a Palooza only 2 games in the whole regional, and it worked out very good, because I always dodged Nibiru. I had opponents telling me, oh my god, I waited for you to do the 5th summon, and it's way more easier to do less summons with a lupine and still end on your Thunder Fusions. So I would end on, I would change the ratio and play 3 aloof and 2 solar, but I think the deck need at least 5 normal summons. Then I played 2 Dimension Shifter, only 2 because I either way I see it in the very first turn or don't see it in the whole game, and to minimize the chance of seeing it later in the game, I cut 1 shifter, but still on 2 with Phantasme in my deck. I saw it like in we played 7 rounds, and I saw it in 5 of them. So it was really good, and most of the time I saw it when I lost the dice roll and my opponent started the game, and I used shifter and the opponent's turn. I had awkward players, normal sum Armageddon, and I was like, yeah, change shifter, and he needed to banish stuff and couldn't keep on going with his turn, and just passed on the shifter. The same goes to Salamangreat. I waited for him to special the Gazelle, so when he summons the Gazelle, I change shifter, and he needs to send something to the graveyard, to the banish pile, and after that, most of the time, Salamangreat players just pass, and they end on, I don't know, 1 Link monster plus the Gazelle that's laying down. So Shifter was a really good card. So like I said, I played 2 Phantasme. I decided to cut Phantasme because I wanted to have a 40 card deck, and I play other hand traps, so I play Permanence and Ash Blossom, and to keep the deck as low as possible, as minimum as possible, I decided to cut more hand traps and added more consistency cards. So Phantasme there's another reason I cut it to 2, because with my luck in regionals, I most likely face non-link reliant decks, so like True Draco and stuff like that. So in this matchups, he becomes dead in the very first turn, and that's why I wanted to minimize the chance of seeing him in a matchup where I don't need him. And most of the time, I actually sided it out. So that, like I said, 2 Ash Blossoms, I cut down all the hand traps to 2, just to have the opportunity to see him once. And because it's a hard once per turn, I want to see him once or never. So it was really, really, really good in this version to see him at 2. Coming to the spells, I had, of course, the 1 Gold Sarcophagus, then the 2 Allure of Darkness, and the 2 Thunderdragon fusions. I decided to play 2 fusions. I see a lot of players using 3, but I don't know. As long as I'm testing, as long as I'm playing this deck, the 3rd fusion never came up, even in hard grind games, just because I can recycle the fusion with raw and keep on going like that. And the other reason is, in grind games, this deck loses really hard versus stuff like Altergeist and Skystriker Orcus if they reach a certain point, or Paleozoic and stuff like that. And it's better to scoop up early and don't need to rely on the 3rd fusion and just go to game 2 or game 3, depends on which game you are, and just win this game and start the game, because if you go turn 1, you have the advantage over the opponent. And so 2 fusions are more than fine. Then this deck hates back row, so I decided to main deck 2 Cosmic Cyclones. And yeah, I don't know what to say about this. Mostly for Mystic Mine and the Orcus Trap or Babel. So yeah. Then I played 1 Dimensional Fissure. This plus Solar is full Appaloosa plus Thunderdragon fusion combo. And yeah, I had 1 game versus an what was it? Either way, Endymion or Salamander player, I'm not sure. I just passed on Colossus plus this card, and he scooped because he couldn't play it through the Dimensional Fissure. So this card is very, very good. So that's it for the spells. Coming to the traps, I main deck 2 floodgates. This is Skill Drain and Macrocosmos. Macrocosmos because I want to banish stuff, and Skill Drain is a tricky card. You really need to know when you activate this card, because I personally wait for the Orcus matchup when my opponent summons the Ningirsu and wants to send a fusion of mine. Then I just chain Skill Drain, and if I have the Titan on board, Orcus players don't have a way of getting over it. Some Skystrike Orcus players main deck the Afterburner, and it's one of the only ways they can out a Titan at this point. Widow Anchor doesn't work, because Widow Anchor needs to have a monster with an effect to negate, and Skill Drain already negates the effects of all monsters, so that's really, really good. These are the my preferred floodgates. I have 1 more in the side deck, and I will tell you about it a little bit later. And then, of course, I made 3 Impermanence. It's the only hand trap I played at 3, because it's not a hard once per turn. And if I draw 2 in my starting hand, and my opponent does stuff, I can use 2 if I draw 2. So let's get to the extra deck. So of course I have to flex with 3 Thunderdragon Colossus. It's just the bread and butter of this deck. And I played 2 Titans. 2 Titans is the same reason as I played 2 Thunderdragon Fusions. I never needed the 3rd one. I just recycled 1 with the 2nd fusion, and yeah, like I said, it never comes up. So I'm more than happy that I played this at 2. Then, of course, for if really need a normal sum and don't have another play, it's for the Matrix. It's just Matrix plus a Thunder Monster, ends on Linkoryu plus Colossus most of the time. But yeah, I actually summoned it only once, but you need something like Almirage or this card. Then, of course, I played 1 Summoner for the Solar play and the Appaloosa. 1 Lambda as another generic Link 2 when I don't want to use Masquerena for the full combo. And then, of course, the 1 Masquerena. These are my Link 2s. And then I have the 1 topologic Trisbana, which is really interesting because I face 1 Paleozoic Frog player, and I ended on Masquerena, Coloss, plus Raw on my field, and my opponents with Paleo Frog just set 5 cards, wanted to end this turn, and it just said end of main phase, used Masquerena, summed Trisbana, Raw gets used, sums the Dragon Dark under Trisbana, Trisbana triggers, bannies all of this back row, and Dragon Dark gets me another search, so that's one of the most unique combos I used in back row matchups. And of course, 1 BLS link. Yeah, it's just an auto win versus a lot of decks and most likely striker versions or any rogue deck. And then 1 unicorn for the Masquerena as standard go-to link 3. Then I decided to play 1 Borrowlord because it's better than Borrowsword in the pure version. But to be honest, I never used him. I really never used him. So it's like an open space. And Appaloosa, because Appaloosa is one of the best cards in this deck. And then Dingirsu, because I play Mind Control in the side deck, and because 2 8s make Dingirsu, and it's one of the best rank 8 cards. Some players use the Hope Harbinger, but to be honest, you don't want to have that 1 spell negate. It's just not worth to use 2 of your level 8s. But Dingirsu can protect your whole field, it can send a card, it is a 2-6 beater, with of course Hope Harbinger is a bigger beater, but 2-6 is most of the time enough. So let's get to the side deck. With this combo matchups like Endymion or Guard Dragon decks, I side out 2 of my normal summons, most likely 1 Solar and 1 Aloof, to get these in, because Lava Golem just takes up your normal sum and you don't want to clock with too many bricks. So Lava Golem just clears up 2 monsters of the opponent, so that's okay. I played 2 Lancea. Only reason I played 2 is because I feared the Orcus matchup the most, and I have another card in my extra deck, my side deck for them. So Lancea wasn't the most necessary card in my side deck. I rather played 3 system downs, because that's just an auto win versus Orcus. I resolved it once versus an Orcus player and he couldn't do anything. So that's, in my opinion, way better. Then, because I hate back rows, I have 2 Twin Twisters in addition to the 2 Cosmics in my main deck. Yeah, just for back row. Then the 2 Mind Control for Orcus in every go second match I played. So yeah. And then for another go second card, I need big impact cards. So that's why I played evenly match, because go second you really need to have cards that do something or break the board of the opponent with just 1 card. Like Lava Golem takes up 2 monsters, which is most likely enough to play through, and evenly match just banishes the whole field. Because most combo decks today have more monster negates and less spell and trap negates. So 1 evenly match plus, I don't know, another spell that is negated by the opponent is most likely enough to break every go second board. I had the Endymion player play versus me, and he had, I don't know, a Palooza with 4, he had Jackal with 2 Jackals with counters, and 1 Master Endymion. Yeah, I just used Gold Sarcophag to banish something. He negated it with the Master Endymion, and then I evenly matched him and played from there, because he had no scales, he couldn't recover, had 1 monster on the field, and I just had full combo after the battle phase. So yeah, it's one of the best cards in my side deck. And then the other floodgate was Imperial Order. Imperial Order has a lot of bad matchups in the main deck. That's why I decided to side it. And it was okay. I saw it sometimes. My 7 rounds, I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 duels in which I saw this card. It was definitely fine. I probably would put it in the side deck again, but not in the main, because I played some spells and I don't want to hinder my own deck to play. So yeah, that's it. That's it for my deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Just subscribe to me. I don't know. Yeah, well, see you soon. I have some profiles coming up. So yeah, see you.